We have made a return to the Allegheny Reservoir in the Allegheny National Forest. The last time we were here, we were in the wrath of winter, about 15 miles south of our current location. This time we plan to kayak to a new site from Willow Bay to Tracy Bay, where we will set up camp. Our original plan was to explore the waters and paddle to a small island of the ginormous lake. However, with the combination of the weight of our equipment and the constant wake caused by other boats, we knew we wouldn't have been able to make the 10-mile trip, so we decided to paddle on.
We made it to what we think is Tracy Bay campgrounds. Kayaked here from Willow Bay, which is about, we started going to this island, but then the island got too far. So we just paddled back because we had to carry all that crud. That crud was on the back of that. Maybe 2 miles. We probably went about maybe 3 miles in total to get here. About 3 miles in some choppy water. A lot of boat traffic out there. But there's a boat. There's another boat behind those trees. Pretty nice secluded spot up here. I don't think we'll have any neighbors.
Now that we found our campsite, it was time to set up camp. We got the fire pit ready and found a few pieces of firewood to start off. We then set up the tent where we were going to stay for the night.
We're going to head back out in the water. There's some nice cliffs that we saw, so we're going to go do some diving and try not to kill ourselves.
The temperature peaked at around 85 degrees, but with the sun beating down on us all day, it sure felt warmer than that. So we journeyed back out to find a nice swimming hole to cool down. After about a mile worth of paddling, we found our spot, so we docked the kayaks and enjoyed a nice refreshing swim.
We're gonna start dinner here in probably an hour or so. Until then, we're gonna maybe do a little fishing, do a little relaxing, kind of soak in the beauty here. And when we mean dinner, we mean fish. Catch your own dinner. Hopefully we're gonna be eating a nice, delicious, fresh lake trout.
After getting back from our swim, it was time to dry out and relax, and maybe catch a fish. After a few casts, I had doubts of ever catching a fish in this massive lake, but my luck changed. I reeled in a small largemouth bass, but my luck ran out along with the fishes.
Okay folks, we had a sad and slightly traumatic experience. The fish that you saw caught was hooked in a way that it could not be saved, and unfortunately we took its life. We were gonna cook it up, but there just wasn't. It was just too small. It was just too small to eat. Brandon, anything you'd like to add? It was just good fish. It gave up a good fight, and then unfortunately probably that fight it gave hooked it right in the gullet, so we just couldn't get the hook out in time and it was dying, so we just sliced it.
After the traumatic loss of the fish, it was time to gather more firewood. With nightfall coming, it was time for dinner, and we still had to dry out our wet bodies.
Let's take a look over here. This is what we have for firewood. That's the firewood pile. That's the fire pit with some tinder, dried grass and dried up leaves. Hopefully that's enough. Well, we're gonna try to get some dinner going here. We have some noodles that were made before we came. Some cheese sauce. Some cheese sauce and some ketchup. Let's get this fire going.
It was a challenge to get a fire started. The tinder wasn't catching the spark, and we had some doubt we would get a flame.
Nobody ever said making fire was easy.
Finally, after about a half an hour, we had a fire, which was a major relief.
Now that we got the fire started, it's time for some dinner. I don't have any utensils to eat some macaroni and cheese, so I'm gonna make a utensil with a stick. I gotta make a fork. Got some waves coming in, some low tide. Oh, the sun just set right over those hills. This is pretty cool. We ate dinner. It was not a very good dinner. It was more like disgusting dinner. It was a macaroni and cheese attempt. We didn't warm it up very well, and it was just not a good dinner. I'd much rather have hot dogs. Much rather have hot dogs. There you have it, folks. Not a great dinner, but hey, you'll never know if you don't try something. You gotta try it. That's a word to mother. You gotta never know if you don't try it. Mom, you taught me that. Okay. So, what time we got? About 8 o'clock or so? I don't even know. About 8 o'clock, we'll give or take. 8 o'clock. Right now, we're just listening to the Pirates on the radio, relaxing, taking it easy. That's all there is to it right now. Our campfire's going. Camp is all set up. I'm still thinking about that fish. Brandon's still thinking about the fish. We got some firewood here. Plenty of firewood. Should get us through a night. I might be a little bit cold. It's going to be down into the 40s. I got a sleeping bag that's not very good. It does not zip up. It is torn up. And it is very, very thin. So, I'm going to be a little bit chilly tonight, I would imagine. But I'm sure it will not be the coldest I've ever been out in the bush. So, it is what it is. And we have a tent instead of tarp. Yeah, and we'll be sleeping in a tent tonight, not just a tarp like normal. And in the morning, we're gonna head out in the kayaks. I imagine we'll be heading out pretty early. If I had to guess, I'd say probably 9 o'clock or so we'll be breaking camp. Not a bad camp trip so far. Had some fun, had some down times, but right now we're just reaping the benefits. This is a little bit more of a relaxed camp trip compared to the winter camp trips, that's for sure. Those are intense. Yeah, those are a stressful event. This is more getting in tune and enjoying nature. Yep. Getting in tune with nature. I was working on my whittling. I had a little bit of an accident. I cut myself. It's not terrible. It's not the most shallow cut I've ever had in my life, but the bleeding is pretty much stopped now and bandaged up. If you would like to see what I was working on, the beaver doesn't really have any utensils, so I was making him a nice little spoon here, and so you just kind of. Beaver, how'd the spoon work for you? Spoon worked good for the food that was disgusting. There you go. Good spoon. Bad food. Bad food. That's jam. About, I think right around 7 o'clock, just as I suspected. That's some coffee. Maybe close-up shot of that. That's some coffee. Let me show you what we got cooking here. Look how good those eggs look. Hope you're hungry. That'll do some real good to you. But we only got about, plan on only hanging around here for another maybe half hour. Get out in the water maybe around 7:30 or so. Camp all packed up, all broke down. We're ready to go. Fire's out. Kayaks are all packed. We're gonna be on the water 5 minutes. Should be back to the car in about an hour. Good trip, no problems.
Got some tape.
My boo-boo's not. We'll see how that is in the morning.
Got some tape.
Tomorrow.
Got some tape.
Got a few blisties. Other than that, good trip. Good trip. All right, we'll see you later.
Eggs were good. Camp was packed up and it was time to head home. The 2-mile paddle wouldn't take long as we crossed the foggy lake. Throughout the trip we didn't see any wildlife, but as we kept paddling we spotted a bald eagle fly into a canopy of a tree. Although it was very difficult to spot on camera, we saw it carry breakfast into the tree line. There you see a crow passing in front of where the eagle landed. We paddled another 50 yards and spotted another bald eagle perched on a branch. We were lucky to get this one on camera as it flies off to join its friend for a healthy meal. As the sun breaks through the heavy fog, our adventure comes to a close. Fortunately, we were not forced into a survival situation this time, but we are always prepared if need be.